Morning, guys. Another major fear we have in our lives is the fear of old age or a fear of getting old. This is one that is really tough to overcome. It's a real tough one to control. But I want to share with you one line from Napoleon Hill, which I read and listened to over and over, and has helped me so much because this is what the thought that I replace when I get that negative thought that I'm getting old. And the thought is this: you're not getting old. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you are actually gaining wisdom and understanding. So when someone says, oh, you're over 40 or 50 or whatever it is, you're getting old. Don't say that you're getting old. Say that you are blessed to have reached the age of wisdom and understanding. That was the line, actually. That's the thing that I hold on to each and every day. So you are gaining wisdom and understanding, and you are blessed, and feel grateful for that every moment. Have a great day, everyone.
Feel the power of you controlling your breathing right now, in this moment. Here, in the present, the greatest gift you have, that we have. That power, that determination that's in you and everyone. It's the same power we use to control our minds, one thought at a time, one breath at a time. Here we are, another beautiful day in the gym of life. Life, the greatest teacher of all. And you get to learn from it every single day, every single moment. No matter how young you are, how old you are, no matter what you look like, how different you are, we are one. We are the same in one fundamental way. One truthful way. We were born to win, to be happy, to be as we were born. So let's see ourselves today. Determination, let's see ourselves determining to do our best on whatever exercises, stretches we do, the way we move our bodies today in this moment we have together. Do it to the best of our ability by simply being. Alright, good morning, determination. How's everybody doing today? Here we are again. Beautiful day, beautiful moment. Greatest gift is still with us. We are here right now in the present. So let's do our best as we work on our minds and we work on our bodies. The two go together. Your body is the instrument, the tool with which you can express the power of who you really are, your mind. So whatever we do today, whatever stretches, whatever exercises, let's do them with everything we have. Enjoy this moment right now. It can never be taken away from you. Right now is the moment where you have all the knowledge you need. All the knowledge of the universe you're made out of. We are made out of. So right now, let's see how well we do. When I say go, we're gonna jog on the spot, or you can simply walk back and forth. It's up to you. Here we go again. Here we go, determination, let's go. Ready, and go. Always focus on your breathing. Always bring it back to that one power that's in you, that's in all of us. No matter how young, how old, no matter who we are one through this power. Our power to determine, to be in the present, to enjoy the greatest gift of all. This moment, right now. Almost there. Once again, feel that power of you controlling your breathing and your body, doing your best jog or your best walk, whatever you're doing. All right, and stop everyone, walking. Wow, what a day. What a day. Wherever you are, indoors or outdoors, look around you. Just see the beauty in everything. It's phenomenal. It's unexplainable. There are no words. There are no words to explain you. You're made of the same stuff as everything you see around you. Things created by people. Things created through the power of our thoughts. Alright everyone, here we go. Let's do some stretches. We'll start off with some shoulder rolls. Ready? Here we go, 10 forward. Best you can do. Roll those shoulders up all the way and around. And backwards. Alright, let's do arm circles forward. 10 forward. Wow. Thank you, double I. Thank you, infinite intelligence. Wow. What a day. What a moment with you. We may not be in our normal gym, but we are here in the gym of life. We can grow our minds no matter what, and our bodies. And backwards. Nothing can take away the power of what you're doing right now. Determining to be your best in this moment, no matter what. Alright, hands on your hips, everyone. Bend the knees and side stretch. Feel you. Feel you, the real you, controlling your movements. Doing the best you can. May not be perfect. No such thing as perfect. We are perfectly imperfect. It's the way it's supposed to be, so that we can grow infinitely. Let's do twists now. 10 again. Alright, good. Okay, let's do 5 push-ups. Here we go, everyone. Our best 5 push-ups. Best ones ever. Alright, let's do 5 sit-ups. Always try your best. Those are the wins. The effort is the win. Be truthful with your effort. Alright. And let's do 5 squats. Good. Alright, let's do lunges now. 3 on each side. Alright, excellent. Okay. Let's do a 10-second plank. Belly's knees off the ground. Good air in. Alright, and stand up everyone. Let's reach for that sky or ceiling, wherever we are. Here we go. Ready? On your toes. Hold it for 10. Excellent. Now reach for your toes. It's okay if you don't touch, just reach. Feel the power of you reaching, striving, pushing to do better, to go further. No greater joy than that. Enjoy yourself. Be in joy of yourself. Developing you. Alright, stand up everybody, and let's try to balance. Here we go. Grab one leg. If you need to imagine the other foot having roots that are growing through the ground, do that. Whatever you have to do to find your balance. Pull that leg back. You should feel a stretch on the front of your thigh there. And switch. Bend that knee if it helps you stabilize. Always focus on your breathing. Excellent. Okay, now let's hug our knee. The other one. Here we go. A bit different this way. Let's find our balance here too. Pull that knee up. Hug your knee. Feel that pull, that stretch, that feeling on the back of your leg. Feel you working. The real you. Okay, and switch. I refer to the real you. I'm referring to that you inside you that's always striving to be better, that knows there's more, that knows the truth of who we all really are. That true, authentic self. Alright, good. Okay, and now let's sit down.
Just watch this attack now because it's that man Messi.
Lionel Messi! Oh, you wouldn't believe it! What a finish!
Tevez, Crespo, Tevez, Messi, Messi! What a finish! What a move!
Iniesta, encara Iniesta amb la pilota, és molt bona ara l'acció d'Iniesta, Iniesta deixa enrere cap a Messi, Messi dins l'àrea, pot xutar Messi, gol, 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 gol!
An extraordinarily rare and extremely significant archaeological discovery has been unearthed in Jerusalem.
The Temple Mount in Jerusalem has never been excavated, but an illegal construction project 20 years ago opened the door to some major discoveries.
What if I told you that beneath the ancient stones of Jerusalem, something waited in absolute silence for 26 centuries? Something so small you could hide it in your palm, yet so powerful it could shake the foundations of an entire world religion? What if the evidence that rewrites everything we've been told about biblical history was already discovered, and the religious establishment hoped you'd never hear about it? Before we go any further, I need you to do something. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what you're about to discover in the next few minutes is something that powerful voices have tried to suppress, dismiss, and bury again. Don't let this video disappear into the algorithm. Subscribe, ring that notification bell, and let's uncover the truth together.
The Temple Mount Sifting Project is an archaeological adventure whose purpose is to find the empirical proof.
The moment of discovery. Jerusalem. Summer 1979. The air shimmers over ancient terraces where prophets once walked. Deep in a rocky outcrop called Ketef Hinnom, the shoulder of Hinnom, overlooking the valley of Hinnom that borders the old city, a group of school children are learning archaeology basics from Professor Gabriel Barkay, one of Israel's most respected archaeologists. this was supposed to be a routine educational dig. Nothing extraordinary, just pottery shards, maybe some bone fragments from First Temple era burials. The kind of discoveries that fill museum storage rooms but rarely make headlines. Professor Barquet had no idea that within minutes, a 12-year-old boy's curiosity was about to change biblical archaeology forever. The boy's name was Nathan, restless, energetic, the kind of kid who can't sit still. While others carefully brushed dust from stones, Nathan tapped his hammer against what looked like a limestone wall at the back of a burial chamber. Tap, tap, tap. And then it happened. The thin limestone panel collapsed inward with a sound like breaking silence itself. What poured out from that hidden repository was beyond anyone's wildest expectations. Pottery, beads, skeletal remains, and crushed among them, tiny metal cylinders, blackened with age, so small they could barely be seen, yet containing something that would send shockwaves through the Islamic world. Because sealed inside those microscopic scrolls, untouched for 2,600 years, was proof of something Islam has categorically denied for 14 centuries. What lay hidden? Now, before I reveal what was written on those silver scrolls, you need to understand just how impossible this discovery was. This burial chamber wasn't some peasant's grave. It belonged to the elite of ancient Judah, carved with precision into solid limestone, with benches for the bodies, niches for bone boxes, ceremonial recesses that spoke of wealth and religious devotion. The archaeological evidence showed more than a century of continuous use. Generation after generation of the same noble family laid to rest in sacred ceremony, believing their final resting place would remain undisturbed forever. And here's what's absolutely critical. When that hidden repository was opened, the one young Nathan accidentally discovered, there was zero evidence of disturbance. No grave robbers had ever entered. No human hand had touched these artifacts since they were sealed around 600 BC. Think about that date, 600 BC. That's before the Babylonian conquest, before the Jewish exile, before the Second Temple, before Greece rose to power, before Rome existed, before Christianity emerged, and more than 1,200 years before Islam appeared in Arabia. Those tiny silver scrolls were amulets, the kind devout Israelites wore around their necks or had buried with them as expressions of covenantal hope, prayers for divine protection that would follow them beyond death. But these weren't ordinary amulets. Their surfaces were covered, completely covered, in microscopic Hebrew lettering, so fine that the naked eye could barely detect it. Letters carved with painstaking precision by an artisan whose skill is breathtaking even by modern standards. Professor Barquet knew immediately. If readable text existed on these scrolls, they would be older than any biblical manuscript ever discovered, older than the Dead Sea Scrolls, older than any Hebrew text in existence. But there was a problem, a devastating problem. The race against destruction. After 26 centuries underground, these silver scrolls were so fragile that merely breathing on them wrong could reduce them to dust. The silver had corroded into a brittle shell. The scrolls were compressed, rolled so tightly that any attempt to open them seemed suicidal. One wrong move, and humanity would lose whatever message had been sealed inside for over 2.5 millennia. The scrolls were transported to the Israel Museum, where conservation experts faced one of the most delicate restoration challenges in archaeological history. For 3 years, using micro-tools, chemical softening agents, magnification devices, and techniques that had to be invented specifically for this task, experts worked millimeter by agonizing millimeter to open the first scroll. Can you imagine the tension in that laboratory? Every hour of work risking complete destruction, every tiny adjustment potentially obliterating words that had survived since before the time of Jeremiah and King Josiah. And then, after 3 years of excruciating effort, for the first time since the age of the biblical prophets, light touched words that hadn't been seen for more than 2,000 years, ancient Hebrew letters carved into silver, perfectly preserved. The scholars stared in disbelief, and when the second scroll was finally carefully unrolled, the reality became absolutely undeniable. These were the earliest surviving fragments of biblical text ever discovered, older than the Dead Sea Scrolls by centuries, older than any Hebrew manuscript by centuries, older than the Septuagint, the ancient Greek translation, by centuries, and older than Islam by more than 1,000 years. But it wasn't just their age that made them earth-shattering, it was what they said. The words that change everything. When scholars finally deciphered the complete inscription, the implications were staggering. Written on that tiny silver scroll in Hebrew letters from the 7th century BC was the priestly blessing from the book of Numbers, chapter 6. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face shine upon you. May he establish peace upon you. Let that sink in for a moment. The divine name, Yahweh, appeared exactly as written in Scripture. The blessing appeared verbatim. The structure matched the biblical formulation precisely. This wasn't theological evolution over time. This wasn't medieval monks copying and possibly altering ancient texts. This wasn't later invention or fabrication. This was absolute physical, archaeological proof that the liturgical core of the Torah existed, unchanged, during the First Temple period. And now we come to why this single artifact is so devastating to Islamic theology. The Islamic dilemma. Islamic doctrine makes a very specific claim about the Bible and the Torah. According to the Quran and Islamic tradition, the Jewish and Christian scriptures, the Torah, the Psalms, the Gospels, were corrupted over time. Islam teaches that the original divine revelations given to Moses, David, and Jesus were altered, changed, lost, or deliberately modified by Jews and Christians. That the texts we have today don't accurately represent what God originally revealed. Specifically, Islamic scholars have argued that the Jews lost or changed the original name of God. The biblical covenant structure was modified. The priestly blessings were invented or altered later. And the Torah we have today is fundamentally different from what Moses received. This doctrine is called Tahrif, the corruption of previous scriptures. It's essential to Islamic theology because it explains why the Quran differs from the Bible. According to Islam, the differences exist because Jews and Christians corrupted their books, necessitating the final, perfect revelation, the Quran. But now we have a problem. A silver-plated, scientifically dated, archaeologically verified problem. This artifact, engraved in the 7th century BC, contains the divine name Yahweh that Islam says was never used or was lost, the priestly blessing that Islam says was modified, the covenant formula that Islam says was corrupted, and the theological structure that Islam insists was altered, and this artifact predates the Quran by more than 1,000 years. It predates Muhammad by more than 1,200 years. It predates Islam's claims of corruption by so many centuries that it becomes historically impossible for the Torah to have been rewritten in the manner Islam insists. Do you understand what this means? This tiny silver scroll is a witness across time, silent, metallic, unburnable, immutable, and its testimony directly contradicts Islamic doctrine with archaeological finality. The name existed, the blessing existed, the covenant existed, exactly as Scripture records. The academic response and attempts to dismiss. Now, you might be wondering, if this discovery is so significant, why haven't you heard about it before? Why isn't this taught in every history class? Why isn't this front-page news? The answer reveals something deeply troubling about how inconvenient archaeological evidence is handled in our modern world. When the Ketef Hinnom scrolls were first published in academic journals in the 1980s and early 1990s, the initial response from the scholarly community was one of genuine excitement. Here was something unprecedented, the oldest biblical text ever discovered, with profound implications for our understanding of ancient Israel's
Guys, in our top 10 rules for success with Oprah Winfrey, today she shares with us rule number 9, which is stay grounded. So as we're on this path, and as she's been on her path, what's helped her is she's always had this centered focus, and the centered focus on her being. And as she's focused on what she really is and how she's developing herself, her very essence, her core, her being, that also fuels her compassion for others, because she understands what it's like to work on yourself and how hard it is. So let's remember that. As you're working on yourself, as you're trying to become the greatest version of you, remember that those around you are the same. We're all the same. We're all going through those struggles. So if we come from a place of compassion, empathy, and understanding for those around us, we build that also within us. Whatever we become, whatever we are, we share that with others. We help them become their true self too. Have a great day, everyone. I hope this helps.
Down and reach for our toes, straight knees. And hold it there if you can. Good air in. Bad air out. And V-shape with your legs, reach for the floor. Good thoughts in. Bad thoughts out. It's the way we control our minds and our breathing. And reach for one side. Hold it there. 10 seconds. And switch. Reach. Don't hurt yourself though. If you feel pain, then come back to the other level. You always want to safely reach, strive to be better. Okay, and feet together. Gently push your knees down with your elbows. Oh, that sun feels beautiful. I hope wherever you are, you have a chance to feel that power. It's also in everything. Everything you see around you. This floor you're sitting on right now, everything. It's infinite intelligence. That's who you and we all really are. Okay, one leg forward, one leg back. Go as far back as you can. Feel the pull on the front of your thigh. Again, don't go so far where you feel pain. Just feel the slight pull. Okay, and switch. Okay, and let's roll onto our belly and push the floor and look up at the ceiling. Cobra stretch. Here we go. Hold it for 10. Excellent. All right, and legs crossed again. Back straight. Eyes closed. Breathing in through our noses and out through our mouth. Here we go. Now see it in your mind. When that music goes on, see yourself doing the best you can on an exercise, dance, movement of your choice, all within the safety rules of where you are right now. You know how to do that. You know how to follow the rules. You're made of truth and rules from the universe. That's where all rules of the classroom, our parents, everywhere come from. They're there to keep us safe, happy, free, successful, and peaceful, and loving. Our true self. So see yourself doing the best you can when that music goes on. For me today, I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to play 2 songs. On each song, I'm going to see myself doing an exercise where I hold the squat position as long as I can. It's a static exercise for me today. One where I'm not moving, but I'm holding the position. So first for me is stationary air squat. Second one will be holding the push-up position. Nose just off the floor. What about you? What are you going to see in your mind right now and make real and win when that music goes on? Remember, you can play any music you want. I got my songs today. You feel free to use your own music. Music can change your state and help you become and be your true born happiness. Alright, here we go everyone. Air squats for me. What's it going to be for you? Remember, any movement, whatever movement you're doing, as long as it's safe and it's sustained and it's your best, it's all the same. We were born to move, to win. Here we go. Sometimes I'll slightly move my position a little bit higher if I want to work a different part of my muscles on my legs, but this is mainly working for legs, hips, lower legs. I find this works almost everything. With my arms up in the air, I'm working arms. But more importantly, I'm working my mind with my body. How about you? What are you doing right now? Do it to the best of your ability. Power of you using your determination to control your body by controlling your mind. Sometimes I'll move my arms to the side. Sometimes I might take a break. I'll try to hold this for the whole song. Let's see if we can do it. And if not today, it'll be next time. I'll never give up on being better, no matter what. Feel the resistance, I feel the pain, or slight pain, burn in my legs, but I stand in that space and know I can keep going. How about you? Might be getting tired. See if you can go a little bit more. Without hurting yourself, of course. You stand in that space between pain and what you do next. That's determination. Keep going, whatever you're doing, keep going. You always got a little bit more. As we get ready for that next song. Next for me is going to be holding the push-up position. Feel the blood flowing through your body. Alright, here we go.
Causing a problem for Ricardo and his defenders. It's Messi!
Пока в атаке каталонский клуб. Месси уходит в центр. Неплохо. Деку здорово играет на месте. Удар 1-1.
religious practices. But as the theological implications became clear, especially regarding the reliability of biblical transmission and the challenges this posed to Islamic revisionist claims, something interesting happened. The discovery began to be downplayed, minimized, referenced in footnotes rather than headlines. Some scholars attempted to argue that the inscriptions were too fragmentary to draw definitive conclusions, despite the fact that the priestly blessing is clearly identifiable and matches the biblical text precisely. Others suggested that perhaps this was an isolated example and didn't prove widespread use of this particular formulation, ignoring the fact that even one example from 600 BC completely demolishes the corruption narrative. Still others simply avoided discussing the discovery altogether in their works on biblical archaeology, a kind of academic silence that speaks volumes. Why this reluctance? Because acknowledging the full significance of the Ketef Hinnom scrolls means acknowledging that the Bible has been transmitted with extraordinary fidelity across millennia. It means admitting that the skeptical theories about biblical composition and alteration need serious revision. It means confronting the reality that Islam's foundational claim about scriptural corruption is archaeologically disproven. These are uncomfortable truths for certain academic and religious circles. But archaeological evidence doesn't care about comfort. It doesn't bend to ideology. The Silver Scrolls say what they say, regardless of who finds it convenient or inconvenient. The man who carved truth. Now let me take you back 2,600 years. Close your eyes and imagine with me. There's an artisan in ancient Jerusalem, a skilled metalworker. The first temple, Solomon's temple, still towers above the city, its courts filled with priests offering sacrifices, its columns gleaming in the Mediterranean sun. This artisan hears the prophets in the streets calling for repentance. He walks past the temple daily, hearing the priests recite the blessing that has been spoken over God's people for generations. Perhaps someone he loves is sick. Perhaps he fears for his family's future as Babylon grows ever more threatening on the horizon. Perhaps he simply wants to secure divine favor and protection. So, he commissions an amulet, a personal, permanent reminder of God's covenant promise. With incredible precision, he takes his stylus and presses it into soft silver, forming each microscopic Hebrew letter with painstaking care. He engraves the most sacred name in existence, YHWH, Yahweh. He inscribes the ancient blessing that Moses himself taught the priests to speak. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. When he finishes, he carefully rolls the silver scroll. Perhaps he wears it around his neck. Perhaps it's intended for burial. Either way, he believes this blessing will endure beyond his life, protecting him or his loved one even in death. He had no idea, absolutely no conception, that his work would one day confront an entire world religion that wouldn't even exist for another 12 centuries. He couldn't have imagined that his careful craftsmanship would become evidence in a theological debate that would span the globe. He simply carved the truth as he knew it, and that truth survived. The Valley of Hinnum's dark history. There's something else profoundly significant about where these scrolls were found that most people miss. The Valley of Hinnom, Gehinnom in Hebrew, which became Gehenna in Greek, has one of the darkest histories of any location in Jerusalem. This was the valley where, during periods of apostasy, some of the kings of Judah had engaged in child sacrifice to the god Molech. The prophet Jeremiah specifically condemned these practices happening in this very valley. It was a place of spiritual darkness, where God's people had turned away from his covenant to pursue pagan deities. By the time of Jesus, Gehenna had become synonymous with judgment and destruction, a garbage dump where fires burned continuously, used as a metaphor for final judgment. And yet here in this valley of ancient spiritual rebellion, God preserved a testimony to his faithfulness. Right in the place where his name had been profaned, where covenant had been broken, where darkness had once reigned, there lay hidden for 26 centuries a declaration of his blessing, his covenant, his unchanging name. It's as if God was saying, even in the darkest places, even where my people have failed me, my word endures, my promises stand, my covenant cannot be broken. The symbolism is profound. The location itself preaches a sermon about the indestructibility of God's word and the permanence of his covenant promises. The archaeological earthquake. When Professor Barkay's findings were published in peer-reviewed archaeological journals, the scholarly world had to acknowledge an uncomfortable reality. This was officially the oldest biblical text in existence. Nothing, absolutely nothing, predating it has ever been found. The implications cascaded through every field of biblical studies. First, it demonstrated that Scripture's content during the First Temple period was already fully formed. This wasn't a religion still evolving. The liturgical formulations, the divine name, the covenant structure, all of it was already established in the exact form we see in the Bible today. Second, it revealed that the covenant structure and priestly blessings were well-established religious practices, not later innovations or inventions. Third, it confirmed that the divine name Yahweh was absolutely central to ancient Israelite worship, exactly as the Bible describes, not as later revisionist theories suggested. Fourth, it proved that the biblical text had not undergone the evolution, alteration, or corruption that Islamic theology requires. Because this text, engraved by a man who lived before Alexander the Great, before the Roman Empire, before Jesus Christ, before Muhammad, matches the Torah we have today, word for word, letter for letter, name for name. The archaeological evidence spoke, and its voice cannot be silenced. The scientific verification. Now, some skeptics might say, how do we really know these scrolls are that old? Couldn't they be forgeries? Couldn't the dating be wrong? These are fair questions, and they deserve thorough answers. The dating of the Ketef Hinnom scrolls is based on multiple converging lines of evidence. Paleographic analysis, the style of the Hebrew letters, their form, proportions, and characteristics matches precisely what we know about Hebrew writing from the late 7th century BC. Writing styles evolve over time in predictable ways, like handwriting or fonts. Experts can date ancient Hebrew texts by analyzing letter forms with remarkable precision. The scroll script is unmistakably from the First Temple period. Archaeological context. The scrolls were found in a sealed repository within a burial chamber that showed
Good morning, guys. I want to share a story with you today to highlight how we can still laugh, live, and love our way to infinite mind wealth. And it is this. There was an altercation, not an altercation, there was a situation with my family, between two family members, and you could see that they were both trying desperately to be understood. And I laugh inwardly now because I always make this mistake too, and I want us to remember it. But we can laugh about it because it's difficult. The idea of trying to understand somebody first when you are emotional and you're trying to get your point across and you want to be understood, that's very difficult. And we can laugh at it when it's done because it just shows you that even though it's very difficult, it's so important. And if we're willing to do it, we can see great results in our relationship. So I was inwardly chuckling at what happened between two of my family members, but I've done that before and I thought we could just laugh about it. And remember, always seek to understand first. Have a great day.
There ain't no mountain high enough for all of us. We can get through anything together. We will get through anything together. The way we do this is the way we'll do everything. There we go. Holding a push-up for me. Let's see if I can hold the whole song. Let's see. Here we go. Feel that resistance, my body wanting to give up, but then I feel me, the real me, saying, no, I got a little bit more, so do you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. There's always a little bit more. If we determine control what we do next. What we do now, though, here, right now, is an expression of who we really are. The way we do one thing is the way we'll do everything. Being kind, peaceful, determined to be good to each other, that's who we really are. Didn't quite make it to the end of the song. I'm proud of my effort. How about you? Are you proud of your effort right now? Are you using your determination right now? If you are, you won. You're winning. You're doing what you were born to do.
Eto'o and Messi. Oh, here's a great chance for Messi. It's 1-1. Ronaldinho leads the charge. Eto'o, Ronaldinho, stopped by Casillas, blasted in by Messi. Plenty of time for an equaliser for Barcelona. That's what Lionel Messi has in mind. Messi takes everybody on. Messi has got it. This is the game that is going to be remembered as the Lionel Messi match. 19 years of age, he gets a hat-trick.
Shows clear architectural and artifactual evidence of First Temple period use. The pottery, burial practices, and other artifacts all point consistently to the 7th to 6th century BC. Stratigraphic evidence. The geological and archaeological layers in which the chamber was found correspond to the Late Iron Age, consistent with the pre-exilic period of biblical history. Material analysis. The composition of the silver and the corrosion patterns are consistent with artifacts that have been buried for approximately 2,600 years. No credible archaeologist disputes the authenticity or dating of these scrolls. The evidence is overwhelming and comes from multiple independent sources of verification. This isn't speculation or wishful thinking. This is solid, peer-reviewed, scientifically verified archaeological fact. The scrolls are what they appear to be. Messages from the age of the prophets, preserved across millennia, speaking to our generation. The witness that survived everything. Think about what these silver scrolls survived. They were sealed into that repository around 600 BC, just years before Babylon destroyed Jerusalem and burned the first temple to the ground. They lay in darkness while Jewish captives were marched to Babylon in chains. They remained hidden through the Persian conquest, through the return from exile, through the building of the Second Temple. They endured while Alexander the Great swept through the region, while Greek culture tried to erase Jewish identity, while the Maccabees fought for religious freedom. They survived the Roman legions, Herod's tyranny, the birth of Christianity, and the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 AD. They lay untouched while Christianity spread across the Roman Empire, while Constantine made it the state religion, while theological councils debated the nature of Christ. They waited in silence through the rise of Islam in the 7th century, through the Islamic conquest of Jerusalem, through the Crusades where Christians and Muslims battled over the Holy City. They remained hidden through the Ottoman Empire's 400-year rule, through World War I, through the British Mandate, through Israel's War of Independence, buried for 2,600 years, preserved by time itself, awakened in our generation, and when they finally rose from the earth and their message was revealed to the world, they proved Islam's central claim about biblical corruption false. Why this matters to you. Now, some of you watching might be thinking, this is interesting history, but why should I care? Why does this matter to my life today? Here's why this is absolutely crucial. We live in an age where truth is under assault from every direction, where historical facts are dismissed if they're inconvenient to someone's narrative, where people are told that religious texts are unreliable, that the Bible has been changed beyond recognition, that we can't trust anything written thousands of years ago. Islamic apologetics specifically target Christians, Jews, with this message. Your scriptures have been corrupted. You can't trust them. You need the Quran to know what God really said. People, perhaps people you know, perhaps people in your own family, have heard this argument and wondered, is it true? Has the Bible really been changed? Can I trust it? This artifact answers that question with scientific certainty. The Bible you hold in your hands contains the same words, the same divine name, the same blessings and promises that were engraved on silver 1,600 years ago. The continuity is undeniable. The preservation is miraculous. The evidence is irrefutable. When someone tells you the Bible has been corrupted, you can point to the Ketef Hinnom silver scrolls and say, archaeology says otherwise. When someone claims the Torah was modified after its original revelation, you can respond, then explain how text from 600 BC matches our Bible today. When Islamic apologists insist that Jews and Christians altered their scriptures, you have physical evidence that predates Islam by over a millennium, proving the opposite. The larger pattern. And here's something even more remarkable. The Ketef Hinnom scrolls aren't an isolated case. Every major archaeological discovery related to the Bible has confirmed its historical reliability, not contradicted it. The Dead Sea Scrolls, discovered between 1947 and 1956, showed that the text of the Hebrew Bible had been preserved with extraordinary accuracy for over 2,000 years. The Tel Dan stele, discovered in 1993, confirmed the historical existence of King David, exactly as the Bible describes. The Merneptah stele, dating to 1208 BC, provides the earliest known reference to Israel as a people group in Canaan, confirming the biblical timeline. The Cyrus cylinder confirms the biblical account of the Persian king allowing Jews to return from Babylonian exile. The Pilate stone confirms Pontius Pilate's role as prefect of Judea, exactly as the Gospels describe. Time after time, when archaeological evidence is discovered, it supports the biblical narrative, not the revisionist theories or the claims of corruption. The pattern is undeniable. And yet, despite all this evidence, there are those who continue to insist that the Bible cannot be trusted, that it's been changed, that we need alternative sources to know what God really said. Why? Because accepting the Bible's reliability has implications they're not willing to accept. The prophetic dimension. There's another layer to this discovery that we need to examine, something that goes beyond mere archaeology into the realm of the prophetic. The Bible itself makes specific claims about the preservation of God's Word. In Isaiah 40, chapter 8, we read, "The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God will stand forever." In Psalm 119:89, "Forever, O Lord, your word is firmly fixed in the heavens." Jesus himself declared in Matthew 24, verse 35, "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away." These weren't just poetic expressions of hope. They were prophetic declarations about the indestructibility of divine revelation. And the Ketef Hinnom scrolls are a physical manifestation of that promise. Think about it. What are the odds that the oldest biblical text ever discovered would survive in metal form, one of the most durable materials, rather than on papyrus or parchment that would have disintegrated millennia ago? What are the odds that it would be sealed in a repository that grave robbers never found, in a location that remained undisturbed through countless wars and invasions? What are the odds that it would be discovered in our generation, precisely when Islamic apologetics has become more aggressive than ever in challenging biblical reliability?
as we always begin, as everything begins. Through the power of our minds, controlling our breathing. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you're here in this moment, in the present, using your gift, the greatest gift you have, the now, I love you. I love you because we are all one. We can all stay in the present and be our true presence. Be the human being we were all born to be. The way we did our best today, this gym period, is the way we can do our best in everything and anything, including remaining deeply grateful and loving and kind to each other, helping each other learn, grow, helping each other win together. There's no greater joy than that. There's no greater happiness than that. That's the ultimate truth.